10 awesome AI automations for digital business and the best AI tool for each one. We all know the hype around AI, artificial intelligence, and the idea that this sort of mechanical, technical marvel is going to be taking over the world. It's changing the world every day in every possible way that we look at, by using automation, by using content generation, and all other types of simplification and efficiencies. But how do we actually use it in our business? So although we understand that there are a lot of things and there are a lot of ways it's talked about in terms of things that it can do, things that it's going to do, it can replace people, it can do all this. You have CEOs of companies coming out and saying that eventually there'll be $1 billion valuation of a company that has one employee. That might be a bit of an exaggeration. I don't know whether or not that will ever happen. It's hard to really say. But the fact is, it is true that there are a lot of different ways that we can use AI in real practical things that we're doing in our business every single day, particularly if we have an online or a digital business, or even if we just have an online presence. So even if our business might be offline, if we have a website, if we have anything that we're doing online, a lot of that stuff, we can tap into the power of AI to simplify, to automate, make things more efficient, cut costs, increase revenue, and become more competitive, adaptable, and basically agile, which is super important in business these days because we all have to be able to pivot. We all have to be able to adapt to every new thing that comes down since there are always changes going on. So we want to be able to streamline, we want to be able to automate, and we want to be able to optimize our workflow. So that way we cut costs and increase efficiency. So instead of talking in general terms and the idea that AI, but sort of what do we do? How do we harness it? What do we do in a practical way in our actual business? Let's make the rubber meet the road and let's look at 10 real ways that we can actually use AI in our business to make a real impact. And let's go a step further and also explore some of the AI tools that can perform each of those. So the first thing that jumps to mind when we think of AI is, at least for me, is content generation. It's absolutely revolutionized the idea that we can create content. Now, from a text-based standpoint, this is particularly true because that was sort of the first generation. So with the original ChatGPT and some of the other tools, we know that we can write written content, like blog posts, like product descriptions, news articles. And we can use these because of their technical background, their natural language processing technologies. Basically, what we're able to do is create very realistic, professional sounding content. And we can create almost any kind of written content that we're looking for. It can create coherent and contextually relevant text based on input or prompts. Now, the one thing that's really important to know, or two things that's really important to know about this. One is that the quality of the output depends on the quality of the input. If we give it a very general prompt, we're going to get a very general and generic answer. Now, AI does suffer from one major problem, and it always will. It has no experience. It has no life experience. It hasn't been through anything. So it isn't going to be able to reflect on its own experience that we had growing up in order to be able to color the content or make it more human or engaging. So that leads to the second sort of caveat or issue with generated content using AI. And that is, it's great to use as a tool to generate and get the ideas going for outlines, for articles, for things like that. But it's super important to go back through them and edit them as a human being. So not only do we make sure that they're accurate and make sense, because AI can make mistakes, but beyond that, we want to make sure that we inject something personal in there and that we inject our personal voice and our experience. Because if we don't do that, what we end up with is just mass producing a bunch of generic content that anyone and everyone else could use as well. The way we're going to use it in a method that makes sense for our business, and that's actually going to give us a leg up and be an advantage and an efficiency, is to use it as the starting point to generate the idea or generate the base content. But then we need to go through it with our human eyes, our human brains, our human experience, and go through and make some edits to it. So that's a really important distinction. We don't want to just take the AI stuff and throw it up there. But basically, we're going to be able to create almost any of the text things that we need, whether they're social media text posts, whether they're blog articles, blog posts, whatever, if they're YouTube descriptions, any of the things that we're doing that are in text. ChatGPT and other sort of text-based AI tools can certainly do this. And OpenAI's ChatGPT 4 is one of the tools that's pretty common and popular for this. It has advanced text generation models. Now, in addition to that, if we expand on sort of the text side of it, at this point we're able to actually create images as well. So we could create images. There are a bunch of different tools for image generation, and we could create really sophisticated at this point images. I remember using one of the first tools for image generation, and I did, give me a watercolor leopard in a forest or whatever. And it actually was pretty cool, but it was a little bit low res. It was a little bit, sort of childlike looking in terms of its development. Nowadays, it's gotten so sophisticated that they're 3D, they're really advanced, they're awesome looking, and there are a lot of tools and new ones coming out all the time that can do image generation for us as well. It can create 3D images, it can create all sorts of custom images and things like that, whether it's Llama or DALL-E or whatever other model that we want to use. And so from a content perspective, we can certainly do text, we can certainly do images, and we can also do video. So we can create a lot of content that we need using AI. And it's really valuable to use at least sometimes. If there's cornerstone content that we want to make ourselves, that might make sense. But certainly in terms of being able to create quantity of content, AI is a great tool to use for that. It's very simple, it's very straightforward, and it's quick and easy. A second area that we can use AI is in our email marketing. For email marketing to be effective, again, like content, we need to be doing this a lot. We don't send out one email a week to our list. It's just not enough. And AI can actually automate email campaigns. So not only can it write the emails themselves, and again, we might want to edit those. We might want to make sure that our own voice is in it, because again, the more generic something sounds, the less engaging it's going to be. And so we want to make sure that we inject our own personality and vibe into it as well. But AI can also automate email campaigns by segmenting audiences. And it can do that based on behavior and preferences. So that is actually really cool, because now we're going beyond, hey, write me an email that I can send to promote this thing. And we're getting into, look at who did this, look at who did that, look at who likes this, who clicked on that, whatever, and then segment based on that. And it can also optimize send times. So it can look at all the emails that have been sent and realize, hey, the greatest amount of clicks and opens come at this hour. So it can automatically optimize and change sending times for maximum engagement. It can also personalize email content. So that way individual recipients get something that feels a little bit more individual. That is really what we want, because even though we might be mass marketing, we never want our customers to feel like we're just sending it out to our list. We want them to feel like we're speaking to them directly. So the machine learning models out there can analyze the past interactions through our email marketing, and they can predict the most effective strategies. So examples of this tool are like MailChimp's has AI tools, and it's known for a user-friendly interface. It's pretty easy to use. AI-driven features like send time optimization, content personalization, and audience segmentation. And then you also have like HubSpot's email marketing. So HubSpot, offers powerful automation and personalization features also, which are backed by AI and machine learning. So those are a couple example tools there from the email side of things. Then we can use AI for social media management, right? Obviously, if we're doing anything in social media, we know it's an ongoing game where we've got to constantly be posting new stuff. And AI tools can schedule posts for us. They can analyze social media engagement. They can suggest content modifications to increase reach and engagement. So the real value in AI with social media is it can go out there and analyze a mass amount of data and cull that down into some takeaways, some distinctions and some best practices that we can use in our social media marketing and content generation to make sure we're doing the best thing that we can do. They can also automate responses to common inquiries on platforms like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, so it can improve response times, it can improve customer service, and all these other kinds of things as well. And a lot of times, one important note about AI, and I might bring this up at the end, but I'm going to bring it up right now since I'm thinking about it, is a lot of times, as I mentioned in the beginning, it's the quality of what we put in is the quality we get out. AI is fascinating because it can generate stuff for us. But again, if it's all generic, there's very little value in that. If we get better and better and we focus on the skill of learning how to prompt, learning how to ask for the things that we really want, that's where the real magic in AI lies. Because that's where we can get the differentiation, that's where we can get the uniqueness to it that really helps us build our brand without needing to go out and do a lot of extra reworking of the content and stuff that it creates for us. An example of this tool is like Buffer. It uses AI to analyze post performance and to suggest optimal posting times and content types. And another example of this is like Hootsuite Insights. It offers AI-powered sentiment analysis and trend detection. So it can basically look at what everybody's feeling and thinking and how they're reacting to everything that's out there and let us know, so it can help guide our social media strategies. Another area that we can really use AI in, and this is something that marketers have talked about for a long time. I learned a lot of my marketing chops from the marketing legend Jay Abraham. I had a book. I met him and went to a conference. I spent a lot of time studying what he did because he really is a brilliant marketer. And one of the big things he always talked about was the idea of segmenting your market. Now, the challenge historically with segmentation is that by breaking our audience into different segments, what it equates to is work. It's extra work to break it into segments. It's extra work to then tailor a message to each of those segments. But it's also been proven over and over again to be awesomely powerful and effective. So if we have an ability to do that in a way that's more automated, that is music to every marketer's ears and business owner's ears. So AI can process large data sets to identify patterns and can segment customers into precise groups based on their demographics, their purchasing behaviors, their engagement levels. And that enables marketers to tailor strategies and communications more effectively. So this is really cool. Now, some software has been doing this for a long time, even before the idea of AI, where it would give you sort of an engagement score for the people that you have on your list or whatever. All it's basically doing is tracking that individual user's experience, though. When we look at this, we're talking about something that can analyze a greater data set and pull out segments of people that all behave in certain ways. And that allows us to target messages specifically to those groups so we can get better results when we're marketing to them specifically. So the Adobe Experience platform is a good example of this. It uses AI and machine learning to create real-time customer profiles that update with every interaction. So they allow for dynamic segmentation. That is very powerful, especially if we're a larger enterprise with lots of customers. As our business grows, that's something that can be more and more useful and valuable. Another example of it is Salesforce Marketing Cloud. We're seeing ads now all over TV about this because they're using AI to help provide detailed customer insights and segmentation capabilities using AI in a similar way. And so the idea here is, if we look at even what we've looked at so far, we can see that there are a lot of automations and there are a lot of things that we can do that will simplify stuff we're already doing. But it also, for those of us who might not have had the time or the energy or the effort to put in to segment our audience or whatever, it can let us tap into new marketing opportunities by adding those things into our marketing matrix. So now we're able to segment our audience, we're able to target it better, and we're able to get at those people exactly where we need to reach them. Another area we can use AI is ad targeting and optimization. So AI systems can optimize digital advertising across platforms, and it can do it by testing different ad versions, analyzing performance data, and automatically reallocating budgets to the most effective ads. So the cool thing about this is everyone's known about analytics for ads since the beginning of ads. Everyone has known that you have to track what results you're getting from which ads, and that's always been done, but it's always needed to be done manually. Like the software will track your click-throughs and your opens or your views and your conversions. But then you had to go in, look at the data, manipulate the data, and make the changes. It wasn't dynamic. I remember early on in my marketing days, there was a piece of software. People were very much into A/B testing, where you basically test two different versions of a sales page. And there was one tool on the market, and the name of it escapes me, but it was the only tool I ever saw marketed towards smaller marketers that did multivariate testing. So what that means is you would put variables in your sales page, and you would put in the values for those variables. So let's say a headline was one of your variables. You could put in 5 or 6 different headlines. And you could also put in, different calls to action. And you could put all these variables in your sales letter or on your web page, and you could start the test. And it would rotate all the different variations of all the different segments or all the different variables throughout the page. And it would automatically refine and tell you which exact combination worked the best. So while this headline might have been the best overall, this headline worked better with everything else, and the overall rate and it was a fascinating tool. I loved it. It was a little technical and hard to use, but I used to use it all the time, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was brilliant. This was long before the days of AI, and you still had to manually input all this stuff. Now AI can do all this for us. So it includes pay-per-click ads, so any of those campaigns, and display ads as well. And the AI can actually not only analyze and test for us and move things around, but it can auto-optimize and put in the highest performing things so we get the best return on our investment. Examples of this are the Google Ads AI that automatically optimizes your pay-per-click campaigns and offers suggestions for improving ad performance. There's also AdRoll, which uses AI to automate ad campaigns across different platforms and devices as well. So it optimizes for the best possible return on ad spend. Another area that we're able to use AI is in SEO, or search engine optimization. AI can help in optimizing website content for search engines by suggesting keywords, by analyzing the effectiveness of content, and even adjusting the site architecture itself. Some tools use AI to monitor search engine algorithm changes as well, and they can also recommend adjustments in strategy based on those changes. In the old days, the way it's always worked is we set up our site, we did the SEO optimization, and then we held our breath when the new search engine paradigm or update rolled out. We saw what impact it had, and then we manually had to reverse engineer, figure out what happened, and then fix it if we had a problem. Now there's stuff that will automate that for us. And in fact, the search engines aren't being transparent with the changes that they're making specifically, but they are sharing a little bit about the strategy they're using. So it allows us to get a little bit ahead of the curve. And if we use these analytical tools that are based on AI, we can actually optimize our stuff a lot faster. So we minimize any hiccups in our search engine rankings. An example of this is ClearScope. It integrates AI to help optimize content for SEO by providing keyword recommendations and content grading. And then there's also Market Views, which uses AI to analyze content and compare it against content leaders to suggest improvements and optimizations. If those guys are at the top and we monitor or model what they're doing, we're likely to rise in the rankings as well. Another area that AI does really well for us is in predictive analytics. We can use historical data, and AI can predict future customer behaviors based on that, such as like when they're most likely to make a purchase or when they unsubscribe from a service. And that's going to help us in proactive decision making and strategy planning. So if we know that on this day of the week or at this time of the month or at this season or holiday, this segment of buyers is more likely to buy, we can target them more heavily around those times. If we know that if we send more than X amount of mails about this particular thing, these people are likely to unsubscribe, then we can go right up to the limit but not cross it, and then we still maximize our list viability as well. Examples of this are the IBM Watson Studio, which offers robust predictive analytics to forecast future trends and behaviors, and the SAS Advanced Analytics. SAS, which provides a variety of AI and machine learning solutions, including predictive analytics. Another area that's become very popular for AI and works fantastic is chatbots and virtual assistants. AI-powered chatbots can handle customer inquiries and transactions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They can provide instant responses to frequently asked questions. They can guide users through processes and even handle basic troubleshooting. So it enhances the user experience. It makes the user feel like we're customer-centered, and it allows them to engage. It isn't like the customer has to go search for all the answers they want from some big database. It also can reduce the workload dramatically on human staff, particularly the more traffic and visitors and prospects we've got. Examples of this are Intercom, offers AI-powered chatbots that can handle support and lead qualification automatically. There's Drift, that specializes in AI-driven marketing and sales chatbots that help automate conversations on websites. And there's a million smaller tools as well. AI can also be used in website personalization. So AI can analyze user behavior and preferences, and it can dynamically personalize website elements like the content, the product recommendations, special offers that all cater to an individual user needs. Some examples of this are optYOUmize, which uses AI to automatically adjust website elements to suit individual user preferences and maximize user engagement. And then there's Dynamic Yield that provides AI-powered personalization across web, mobile apps, email, and kiosks. So we have a lot of tools at our disposal. And then we can also use AI for customer sentiment analysis. It can analyze customer feedback, reviews, and social media mentions, so it can automatically gauge sentiment about a brand or product. It can provide insights that can guide our marketing strategies and our product improvements going forward. Examples of this are BrandWatch, which uses AI to analyze online conversations about our brand for insights into public sentiment, and MonkeyLearn, which offers AI tools for analyzing text data from reviews, survey responses, and social media for sentiment analysis. So these automations not only save time and reduce costs, but they also enhance the effectiveness of marketing efforts by enabling more personalized, more responsive, and more data-driven decision-making. And so while this isn't an exhaustive list of the examples or tools that perform each function, it gives us a great head start in evaluating the best tool for our specific needs, and it gives us real-world examples of how we can use this stuff today in our business. So the takeaway here is the AI train has left the station. And if we're not on it already, we need to run and catch up so we can jump aboard. We can fully embrace AI and try to weave it into everything we do, or we could just implement the clear and obvious. But either way, we need to be using it because our competitors are, and it saves time, money, and workload. So it benefits anyone using it, and it puts anyone who isn't in a weaker position. We will always need people at the core of every business, but it's also important to leverage technology and efficiencies whenever and wherever we can to keep us competitive and profitable.